What's going on, guys? Soldier Only here from Sports Nerd Web. Welcome to this week's episode of Sports Nerd Web Weekly. We have a ton of stuff to get into this week. I'm actually coming to you this week on Wednesday. I'm a day late again just because I had a lot of stuff to do yesterday. I actually finally upgraded to the PS4 Pro so that Fuchsia Only can take over the older PS4. So that we can play Destiny and some of those online multiplayer games at the same time as well. But we'll get into some of that a little bit later. First off, what I want to get into, there's actually some news that came out today already from GDC. The first thing is about NVIDIA actually finally unveiled some details about the GTX 1080 Ti. NVIDIA has announced today GeForce GTX 1080 Ti will release as early as next week, priced at $699, which this is actually cheaper than I was expecting it to be. It's actually cheaper than what I was hearing a lot of other people were expecting it to be as well. $699 was actually what the current price of what the GTX 1080 was, and also, so I'm really surprised that the Ti is going to be $699, which I think is amazing. The new graphics card is said to be the best Ti NVIDIA has ever produced and is offering 11 gigs of VRAM, which makes it 35% faster than the currently available GeForce GTX 1080. GTX 1080 will have a price cut accordingly, which will make it available at $499. So, when the GTX 1080 comes out, when the 1080 Ti comes out, so that one's going to be $699, and then the GTX 1080 will have a price cut down to $499. The 1080 Ti will feature 12 billion transistors, 1.6 gigahertz boost clock with the ability to overclock to 2 gigahertz, 28 SMs with 128 cores each, 3,584 CUDA cores, 28 geometry units, 224 texture units, 6 GPCs, 88 ROP units, and 352-bit GDDR5X. This thing is a beast, my hell. It has a new thermal design, vapor chamber cooling, a 2-time cooling area, 7-phase dual FET, 250A power, 14 dual FETs. The graphics card is dubbed the Ultimate GeForce and is more powerful than the Titan X Pascal. So it really looks like it's the new PC thing you want for your computer to have very high performance. Then you can actually get on GamePure.com and there's a video on the website that describes the GPU and its functionalities and things like that. So I'm glad. I was actually recently thinking of upgrading my graphics card to a 1080, but this is the exact news I was waiting for. A lot of people were expecting NVIDIA to finally unveil the details about the 1080 Ti at GDC, and I'm glad that I waited. I'm glad that they did, and I'm glad that the price point is actually a couple $100 cheaper than I was expecting it to be. I was kind of bracing myself for about an $800 to $900 price range. I know some people were even kind of, I even saw some people were thinking, it could have been anywhere from even like up to $1,000 or $1,100. One person even said like $1,200, around some like the Titan X prices. So. But that's awesome because for this to be $699 and it says that it's more powerful than the Titan X, so that's an amazing value, for the price. So, but also not to be outdone, AMD also revealed their new Radeon RX Vega at the same event at GDC. Today at the AMD Capsaicin and Cream event at GDC. Senior Vice President of the Radeon Technologies Group, Raja Koduri, officially revealed the branding that AMD will use for their next generation GPU products, Radeon RX Vega. Vega products will all be featuring high bandwidth cache controller, which allows GPUs to address all available memory in the system, like NVMe SSD, system DRAM, and network storage. The demo that they showed on stage featured Deus Ex Mankind running on a system with a Vega GPU running with 2 gigs of VRAM and Ryzen CPU. By turning HBCC on, they were able to show a 50% increase in average frames per second and a 100% increase in minimum frames per second. Another new feature which is set to debut with Vega products is Rapid Pack Math. Rapid Pack Math allows developers to run half-precision FP16 shaders at exactly 2 times the speed of traditional standard precision FP32 shaders, so they can have more performance out of the box with the same resource. A technology like TressFX is now capable of running double the hair strands, for example. It's next-gen stuff, definitely, and one which could possibly make slow a bit down the race for the teraflops count, basically because less of them would be required with this new hardware. With Project Scorpio releasing later this year, it will be interesting from a console perspective to see where the included hardware will be placed in the middle of AMD generations. Yeah, that's definitely interesting because as far as I know, I believe it's AMD that makes a lot of the graphics units in the console. So but AMD didn't really release as much information as Nvidia did. Nvidia did actually release a price point and actually said, when the 1080 Ti could be releasing. It said as early as next week. What AMD did, they just pretty much just revealed the branding name and just kind of talked about some of the technology that their next GPUs are going to have. So it looks like we'll have to wait and see for a little bit for some more information as far as AMD is concerned. But I'm definitely stoked about the 1080 Ti, and as you know, AMD normally, I'm actually because I was thinking about this because AMD's price points are always so competitive, and in one of the Twitch chats the other day, some of us in the chat, we were actually talking about the Nvidia and AMD GPU race, and someone in chat was saying that that because AMD's competitive pricing, that Nvidia is going to have to start, releasing theirs at better price points. And someone in chat was like, oh, there's no way in hell they'll never do it. The 1080 Ti is going to be like $1,000. Like, this is one of the guys that I was hearing this from. So it's actually good to see, the 1080 Ti coming out at $699. Which is crazy because that is literally the current price of what the 1080 was yesterday when I was looking at them, because like I said, I had recently been looking at the 1080s, but if the 1080 Ti is going to be coming out this soon, I'm going to hold off and why not just get one of those, because that thing is a freaking monster. So yeah, definitely a good time to be getting into the PC game. Speaking of PC, actually over the weekend as well, the Ghost Recon Wildlands beta was going on, and I actually played a ton of this over the weekend. I actually played just about 15 hours of the beta, and I am more hyped for this game than I have ever been. When this game was first kind of getting talked about, and I think it was back at E3 last year, it's been almost a year since I've really been paying attention to Wildlands, and over that year my hype level for this game has definitely gone up and down. It's definitely roller coastered a lot. Especially, I can't remember. It was after E3. It was another conference. I can't remember what one it was after E3 though, where Wildlands was shown, and the presentation at that event, it was not flattering. It just did not look good in my, and not just mine, but a lot of people in the gaming community, their impressions of the game definitely dropped quite a bit. But after playing this, I had a lot of fun. It was an awesome game. I mean, obviously the whole map wasn't available to you, from the get-go, but it was a pretty huge map, and it's actually supposed to be Ubisoft's biggest open world sandbox map that they've ever done, which is saying something, because they have done a ton of open world games, Watch Dogs 1 and 2 and Assassin's Creed and all these. So it's and I think it was the Xbox magazine cover story they did recently. They had a map, and they had features on all the different types of locations that's going to be in the map. So it's not just an all Bolivian desert. There's gonna be like jungle lands and all these different terrains, so it should definitely keep things fresh. What I liked about it was the open world part and how easy it was to jump into like side missions and then the main missions, and then uh, just these little operations that you can do to get like supplies and stuff. Like it was all super seamless and super easy, and like not like the enemy's difficulty easy, but just like navigating the map and how to get into your quests and objectives and all that. It was really streamlined, and it was good. Um, there was this neat part actually. I like the vehicle driving and the helicopter flying and all that. I like all the different vehicles. It's definitely like if GTA and I guess you could say the Division. I guess if the Division and GTA, add that, and probably throwing a little bit of Crackdown in that too for good measure as well. But there was this awesome mission I had to get into this heavily like fortified compound, like tons of enemies like up on like sniper perches and watchtowers and stuff, and the walls were super high and barbed wired, and you couldn't climb them. So I'm thinking of how to get in there, and it was nighttime, and it was raining. So I flew up a helicopter as high like higher than hell. We jumped out, and it's you and three. I was playing solo. I was playing solo, so it was me and three AI controlled teammates. And the computer AI teammates they actually take care of their own. I actually didn't have any moments where they were like frustrating or getting stuck behind something or pulling a boneheaded move or something like that. But it was awesome. We jumped out of the helicopter, we parachuted in, and we so happened to land on the roof of a building that was like in the direct center of the compound. And we landed in the middle of it. And as soon as we landed, I just laid down flat. And like I said, it was nighttime, so they couldn't see us. And it was rain, and the water and rain physics. I mean, this game was gorgeous. And I mean, my computer, I have a GTX 1060 in mine, and the i7 processor 6700. And I wasn't even able to run the game on ultra. I was running it on like very high presets, but it was gorgeous. And so we were laying down on the top of this building in the rain, and the water physics were amazing. And then with my silenced rifle, I just took pot shots, and sniped all the watchtower guards around, so we didn't have any eyes on us from up top. And then we dropped down off the building, snuck through the compound, and we actually what was our objective? Our objective had we had to sneak up on like the captain of this group, and we couldn't kill him. That's the thing. We couldn't kill him. We had to sneak up on him, like detain him, and then interrogate him, and then knock him out, and then leave. And then we had to get out. And it was just such an awesome thing. Especially like how I didn't really have anything planned beyond parachuting in, right? But we just so happened to land on that building, and I don't know. I mean, that beta was a blast. I'm actually probably gonna swoop it up. I'll probably actually get it on PC too. I mean, as I've said before in my videos and stuff, I'm very new to PC gaming, but I had a blast playing on PC. So I think I'll probably get it on PC as well. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I do buy it on console, later down the road. Probably when it goes on sale or something. Maybe get it for PS4. Get it for the Pro or something. Excuse me, bear with me, I'm still fighting this cold. But yeah, and that's actually coming out in about a week, on March 7th, which it's 2 days after my birthday. So another thing over the weekend is I actually finally wrapped up Titanfall 2. I know it's been out for a while, and obviously I play a ton of Destiny and the Division and games that live on their like PvP and end game content, so you don't really actually like beat it, so a lot of these like games with awesome single player campaigns, I don't get them finished as fast as most people probably do. But I finally did wrap it up, and I love the Titanfall 2 campaign. If there's any complaint that I can lobby towards it, is that it was just a little bit, not really that bad, but it was just a little bit on the short side. but it was amazing. I mean, the story, the bond between man and machine, between the main character and his Titan BT. I don't really get it. I don't really want to get into any spoiler territories or anything like that, but the combat, all the gameplay mechanics, the shooting, the movement mechanics, is top notch. The wall running, the sliding. It's definitely easy to feel like a complete badass in Titanfall, and for this one to be the first time they did a single player campaign, they knocked it out of the park. They did an amazing job. I would probably give it, I would say about a 9 out of 10, probably, if I had to put a number on it. Which, and the way I will say about the story though, like how it ended, it 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 leads you wanting a Titanfall 3, right? It's definitely not like some crazy cliffhanger, but it's a good enough like thread hanging there, for you to be like, oh, I can't wait, for a Titanfall 3, which kind of sucks because if you've seen one of my older videos, I think it was probably a couple months back by now, I actually, there was an article that came out where Vince Zampella actually said he doesn't think there is going to be a Titanfall 3 with the way Titanfall 2's early sales were looking. So I hope that's not the case. I hope we do get a Titanfall 3 because Titanfall 2 was phenomenal. And I'm actually stoked to finally dive into the multiplayer for Titanfall 2 as well, because when Titanfall 2 came out, I haven't played any of the multiplayer from the final game. When I played the beta for Titanfall 2, I played a ton of the multiplayer, but since the final release came out, I was only playing the campaign, so I'm stoked to dive into the multiplayer aspect of it as well. And then another thing we were doing yesterday, as I said, that's why I have to do this episode today on Wednesday, but yesterday Horizon Zero Dawn launched, and I played it a little bit after getting the PS4 Pro set up and getting all my information transferred over from the regular PS4 to the Pro. Excuse me. I was finally able to play about 3 hours of Horizon Zero Dawn, and so far my early impressions on this game is, wow, this game is this game, I can already say this is definitely going to be a contender for Game of the Year this year. It's definitely going to be in the running at the end of this year. I mean, obviously, it's way too early to say, if it's like a shoe-in or anything like that for Game of the Year. But I mean, because we're supposed to get Red Dead 2, later this year, and oh hell, there was another one. I can't. Yeah, I can't remember what and Destiny 2 is going to be there. I mean, there's a ton of games supposed to be coming out this year, but immediately at the beginning of Horizon Zero Dawn, it literally, the opening cinematic is so good. It literally just pulled me right in, and like I've just been so hooked into it since the first 5 seconds. Like it is. It had so far. It has an awesome story. I mean, you already have like an emotional attachment to the main character, and kind of the guy that's raising her. I don't want to go into spoilers in this as well. Definitely not. But yeah, and the combat and movement and everything is just really so fluid so far too. Like. And it looks great on the Pro. It runs it's butter, like it is so smooth. I'm so stoked for it. So yeah, and actually in Destiny news, the Iron Banner also kicked off yesterday. I haven't played any of it yet. I'm actually going to be getting into some of that today. So stay tuned to the channel for that, for probably some footage and reviews, because this is going to be the first Iron Banner since the meta change. So it's definitely going to be interesting to dive into it and see what we got going on. I mean, obviously, we're going towards a hand cannon sidearm meta, definitely a No Land Beyond in sidearm meta, and I don't use the No Land Beyond at all. Like, I'm terrible. I'm such a potato with that gun. It's just so awkward. I'm sure if I used it a lot and got the hang of it, like I'm sure, there are people out there that play phenomenal with it, but it's just such an awkward gun for me to use. So it's definitely not one for me, but I'm stoked to dive into some more Iron Banner. And lastly, before we go, I finally have some channel news for me and Sports Nerd Web as far as Twitch streaming is concerned. As you know, I used to stream from console, but I haven't really streamed that much since November. When I was streaming from the Xbox One and PS4, the streams were just always crashing, and I was just having all this bad luck, and just nothing was working right. So I was putting it off until I was able to upgrade everything, get a PC and stuff and like that. But so I finally have my other monitor and my capture card on the way now. So they should be here in a few days, and then you can follow me on Twitter at SportsNerd48 to keep up to date with everything. I will tweet out when I'm gonna do my channel relaunching stream. It's gonna be, I'm still kind of putting everything into the works, like what I want to do. I kind of might want to do like a small giveaway or something. Like, I don't know. I want to have it some kind of event. So stay tuned to the channel here on YouTube, and also, like I said, follow me on Twitter at SportsNerd48, and also you can go to twitch.tv/soldieronly, and you can follow me there because I'll also keep it updated there. So yeah, and I just want to say thank you to all my early followers and subscribers on Twitch and YouTube. I'm still very new to content creation and streaming and YouTubing and things like that, but I think I've definitely gotten better at it. I mean, I'm still obviously, I'm always gonna be awkward and stuff like that because I am socially awkward and a freaking weirdo, I guess you could say. But I don't know, it's a lot of fun. I have a passion for it, and I just want to thank you all, for watching and following. If you like the video, if you like the content, hit that thumbs up button. Please do me a solid and sub to the channel while you're here as well if you like it, for more gaming and sports and nerd content. And we will see you on the next one. Cheers.